Brass.
Band on the run. Brass band on the run.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It's Brass Band on the Run 2023. This is where Jared and I were standing, I think, 4 years ago to the day where we started the previous iteration of Brass Band on the Run in the lead up to the 2019 Australian National Band Championships. Can you believe, Jared McCunnie, of course, that it's been 4 years since the last Australian National Band Championships? Wow.
Genuinely feels like yesterday I was at the Brass Band headquarters, but it's been a long 4 years and cannot wait to get back to a legitimate national band championships. Not that the online ones don't count, but we're all going to get together. So exciting.
It's different not streaming these things, actually playing and being in the hall. And of course, loyal viewers watching online, it's going to be amazing on the stream. But there's a real sense of celebration and coming together that the Australian banding scene hasn't seen for a long time. Jared McCunnie, potentially the busiest man at the Australian National Band Championships. Tell me a little bit about what's on your plate coming up.
Well, it's a huge week ahead. We're a couple of days out from flying up, but I'll be heading up on Thursday, and then Friday's the big day. Open A grade brass bands. 12 bands are playing Siege in the Open A grade as the test piece, which has been an exciting piece to be working towards. Then Saturday's a little bit more chill for most of the brass bands. Oh, I've skipped a performance on the Friday night.
Excuse me, yes.
Sorry, there's so much going on. Friday night, Friday afternoon, I'll be playing in one of the B-grade bands, Burundara Brass. And there will also be a premiere with one of the B-grade bands in the hymn section, of Reflection on Lloyd, which is the first time it's been played. So
Excellent.
plenty to look forward to.
Yep.
On the Saturday, brass bands are taking a bit of a chill out, but there is a wonderful opportunity that's been put together by the Band Association of New South Wales, where they're going to have a panel with the adjudicators and
that
the
feedback.
composers.
Yeah, it's going to be great to.
So I'll be sitting on the composer panel.
Excellent.
I think the wonderful Philippa Edwards will be running that session. So plenty of questions. If you need to grill me on anything, come on down. And then the Sunday, of course, the brass bands are back on. I'll be playing again with Burundara. And in the B grade, again, there will be a world premiere of an exciting new major work called The Chronicle of Anne Bonny, which is
fantastic.
It's a 17-minute epic about a female pirate. There's singing, there's percussion, there's glass bottles, there's quasi swearing of sorts. There's everything.
There's
in
singing.
it.
There's singing.
There is singing. There is literally the kitchen sink in it.
Okay.
It is an epic performance.
Wow. So there's a lot going on. So Jared McCunnie, one of Australia's up and coming, or not even up and coming anymore. You've up and made it.
We're all up and coming.
We're all up and coming. You're composing. You're performing. Do you have a day job as well?
Yes. I've come from my day job today. I've just commenced a new role as a lawyer in the city, so that keeps me busy. Yes, it's got its perks. But composing and being in the brass band scene's where it's all at.
Where do you find time? Where do you find time to be being a lawyer? I imagine I'm not a lawyer, but I imagine it's a lot of work. Composing, I'm not a composer. It seems like a whole lot of work, especially when you've got so many pieces on the go, let alone playing the tuba, which I can tell you takes a lot of effort. How do you balance all of these things?
It's honestly finding a workplace that supports that work-life balance is really important, and taking time for myself. But composing, it's a passion and I love it. And just like some people like going for a run around the park of an evening, I get Sibelius out, bash out a couple of notes, make things hard for B-flat bass players like yourself, Tim, to give them challenges that they need. And I just enjoy every minute of it. And then the most rewarding part's honestly the day the music's performed. So that's why this Nationals is so special for me. I've got nearly 24 performances of my music across the event.
Wow.
I forgot to mention the junior euphonium solo.
Of course. Hello, junior euphoniums.
Yes, 10 entrants in the junior euphonium category playing Freefall, which is a momentous piece commissioned by Fletcher Mitchell, which we all know, Dr. Fletcher Mitchell now.
Hello, Fletcher.
And the City of Greater Dandenong Band. So that's one to watch out, 9:30 on Monday morning.
There's a lot going on and so much to balance. Tell me a little bit about how it came about that your piece was chosen as the A-grade test. Did you know that was going to happen? Was there a call-out? What was the interaction like before that was announced?
Tim, what a question.
Wow.
Elegy, which is the third section of that piece, actually composed on my own initiative. I wrote it, I think, 2018, shortly after the coronial inquest into the siege events. And I wrote it for the South Brisbane Federal Composition Competition, who, unfortunately, the band's not coming down to the Nationals this year, but they've always been advocates and supporters of Australian music.
Feds for life.
Heads for life. But, I was lucky to have that piece performed. And then I'd always wanted to extend that into a piece about the siege events. So lockdown 2020 happened. This little thing that shall not be named occurred. We were in isolation and I was contacted by the New South Wales Music Advisory Board about something totally different. And I just sort of mentioned off the cuff that I'd long wanted to write this piece about the Sydney siege events, using elegy as the key slow movement. And they said, well, look, we're looking for works for next year's Nationals at the time, 2021. Would you be interested in writing something for the B grade? So it was originally written, and then on the eve of that, the test piece announcement, the Nationals was unfortunately cancelled for another reason that shall not be named.
Yes.
But upon reflection, the piece probably sat a little bit above the B grade, but not quite A grade level. So I was given an option: simplify it or make it harder. And I'm sure the A grade bands will attest to which option I took.
How do you feel being told to make one of your pieces harder? Is that like, as a composer, is that, because I guess you're not really writing thinking how difficult it is. Is it the case you're writing with how you want it to sound?
Exactly.
So how does that feedback sit with you? Like, we need you to make this harder to play.
Oh, it wasn't. They did give me the option to go simpler and more challenging. I think it's always easier to make things harder. It's easier to throw more fast notes in and change tempos, so it's just that little bit more on the edge, something that I don't want to play and some other people might be willing to play or capable of playing. I'm okay with, I understand as a composer, we've got to meet the requests and needs of both clients for private commission works or music advisory boards for these test pieces. And there's a great opportunity when we've got Australian composers in our backyard, myself or others, there's an opportunity for boards or bands to collaborate with the composer and say, this piece is pretty close, but there's these one or two things that would just make it easier for us to select it for a test piece for an own choice. And just reach out and contact us. We're living composers. We can actually make amendments to most of our works. There's a time and a place where we will say, look, this is the way I intended it. But the New South Wales Music Advisory Board were really supportive of the decisions. They still allowed me to hold on to certain things that I really wanted to keep in there. And there were other factors that they said, look, this would just enhance the work and just take it to the next level. And I agreed with the bands of a higher level in the A grade. There was that opportunity to take that little bit faster, make the B flat bass players work that little bit harder.
On my toes.
Yes. So I'm happy to make amendments where the time and the place arises.
And for loyal viewers out there who might not be intimately aware of what's going on in the A grade test piece, Jared's obviously written it. Jared, can you give us a short synopsis of the piece? Of course, touched on some very serious themes and events.
Yes, absolutely. So for those that might not be Australian loyal viewers, in 2014 in December there was an event where a terrorist took I think it was 16 hostages, 16 cafe goers hostage in the Lindt Cafe in Sydney. The composition split into three sections that sort of captured different aspects of the siege events. The first section's entitled Day, sort of captures Australia coming to terms with these people being taken hostage, the realisation that this was a terror attack on the Australian public. And the second movement's Night, which sort of captures a lot of the psychological elements of, there's reports that the hostage taker was being confused and perplexed by the lights coming through, and there's a lot of shimmering and effects. And of course, a number of hostages escaped through this process, but unfortunately 2 individuals, Tori Johnson and Katrina Dawson, were tragically killed in the final stages of the siege. And then the final movement, Elegy, which was the one that I originally composed, is dedicated to those 2 individuals' lives that were tragically passed away, and tries to capture Australia's response to the events as they happened. Yeah, I think that sort of captures the essence.
It's a heavy piece. It's a heavy piece and a lot going on, and I think it's a really worthy piece to be selected as the A grade own choice for 2023. So congratulations on that. And it's loyal viewers, I do hope you can tune in to listen to all 12 performances, because it's a wonderful piece, and I'm expecting to hear some fantastic music making, especially from the B flat basses.
100%. I wouldn't expect anything less of the B flat basses, but honestly, it's a wonderful privilege for an Australian composer of my age and experience to have been supported by the Music Advisory Board and all the wonderful bands. I've received wonderful compliments about the piece. The piece is clearly challenged bands on all levels, and that's exciting. It's going to be a suitable A-grade test piece, and hopefully one that's remembered, good, bad, or otherwise.
It'll be memorable, that's for sure. I feel like online over the past 4 or 5 years, I'm a bit of a social media recluse, but I do see a lot of comments sometimes about diversity in composer selection for different Australian events. So I think it's wonderful that a young Australian living composer has been selected for this. Are you sort of seeing, as a composer, a bit more of a call and a need for more diverse voices in the storytelling of what's going on?
I certainly see so. I think there's been a push, New South Wales has clearly supported this. For myself, I'd wanted to see diversity not only of Australian composers, but female composers, people of colour.
Yes.
And I went, why not just say it? Actually, let's get involved. So I've taken the step to join the Music Advisory Board in Victoria to really push this diversity, because as hopefully we'll see at this Nationals, we don't need the same names. The bands will keep choosing our favourites, people that have first names like Philip, that will constantly be chosen in own choice, and they're deserving. They're wonderful compositions,
they're
but there is the opportunity to put these different voices forward and actually challenge ourselves in different aspects in our music making, and hopefully be the better for it.
Absolutely. And do you have any advice for younger composers or people who have never composed but are thinking about, hey, I've got something musically that I want to say? How should they make themselves known to bands or music advisory boards? Is there a support network or certain groups or places they should be chatting and being visible?
Well, community bands are for community, so I'd suggest reaching out to your local community band and saying, hey, look, I'm a composer. I want an opportunity to write for this wonderful medium. I don't know where to get started, but do you guys need anything? If it's an arrangement of the national anthem, if it's all of a sudden they go, hey, we'd love a hymn setting, we'd love a new march. Sometimes, early days, they might not have the funding there, but as you grow and you develop that reputation, there is a great opportunity where bands go, actually, you can hit that niche. We got a little bit of funding to support a historical recollection of events. Darwin's City Brass Band recently commissioned a commemoration of the attacks on Darwin in Northern Australia. There's the wonderful opportunities to collaborate with bands right across Australia and hopefully internationally. As if we keep on supporting our own, you'll see Australian names getting featured more overseas. I had a piece featured in the French National Band Championships.
Wonderful.
It was so popular, no bands entered the event, but there's always next year. But it's those wonderful opportunities. The more we get out and support our fellow composers, myself or otherwise, there's wonderful composers right across Australia.
Absolutely.
You're going to see more of our wonderful music everywhere.
It's so exciting. I feel like Australian banding was certainly on the up in 2019, and I feel like that's just really extended. And I feel like in the various lockdowns and things that stopped us getting us together, my sense is that people are much more excited to commit to what they enjoy doing and get together and making music. And it's great that Australian composers are being featured more and more, and that diversity is starting to emerge more than it was before. There's a long way to go, but it's good to be on the path. Jared, what are your top 3 things you're looking forward to at Nationals?
Oh, Tim, of course, Tim's broadcast. It's sensational. I must admit, I'm not going to be able to see every single performance all weekend, and it's nice knowing that the stream's there at the end of the night to rewind, rewatch,
that's right.
and capture as much of it. Walking between the halls, it's a must-have.
It is.
It's
always
an essential
always
for
on.
a national event. Second up's, my personal performances with Burundara. I've shifted B-grade bands during lockdowns because of conducting commitments, but it's nice to have a band that I went over to New Zealand with them, and it's nice to finally go to an Australian Nationals with them. And finally, all the bands playing my music across all grades, Open Euphonium, the bands that have commissioned new works, as well as, of course, the 12 A-grade bands. Really wishing all of you, plus bands playing every other piece under the sun, the very best of luck. This is all about celebrating music. There's winners and losers, but music always wins.
It does indeed. And loyal viewers, you too will be winning as you join us live. I'm really hoping that this year we have the lowest number of loyal viewers online and everyone is together in person in Newcastle. We look forward to seeing you there. If you're going to be online, make sure you chat in. I'm Tim from Brassbanned. Thanks for watching.